A lot of black Americans don't like to talk about classism because they know if we talk about classism, we'll actually get somewhere in life. I feel like while colorism, texturism, and featureism and ableism are important things to talk about within the black community, I feel like we also need to talk about class. And I've talked about class on here before: hood versus suburban, uppity versus not uppity, bougie versus not bougie. There are so many black people in this country who categorize black people based off of their socioeconomic status, whether they grew up in a black neighborhood, whether they grew up in a white neighborhood, whether they grew up upper class, working class, or lower class. And they judge black Americans like this because a lot of people have internalized the idea that in order to be a real black American, you have to have struggled growing up or you have to be struggling now. I feel like there are other groups of black people who talk about class, especially in places like Europe, where class is very important. But in the US, how we talk about class is different. It's more like, oh, you ain't grow up like us, or you ain't got money like us, so you ain't shit, you ain't real, you ain't down, things like that. And it can turn violent pretty quickly. All I'm saying is more of us need to tackle classism and become class conscious.
Some of us came from Kershaw Cavalry. Some people are stand up and rise. Some people are sit and cry.
What's happening, fam? Black classism explained, exposed, whatever. You got the lower class, you got the middle class, you got the upper class. And I would say there's a certain amount of classism or an a ideology of superiority also when it comes to regions like north, south, midwest, west coast. There's a people look at it differently also. I'm from here, I'm from there, so you get put in a box about where you're from. And the basis for classism is disrespect, in my opinion. So um start like with lower class. Like if y'all all are in the hood together, then it's like who's the richest poor kid, right? And I've seen situations where you know the poorest of the poor kid grew up and they're kind of flashy because it made them insecure or whatever, but they want to show that they'll never be that broke again type of situation. Um, then you had the poor kids who they just had a plan, they had a dream, they went for it. Some people believed in them, some people didn't, right? Some people got help, some people most people didn't. But the poverty gave folks either it gave most people a drive. Some people quit along the way, but most people pushed on. And I would say the access to opportunity, but not just opportunity, um, the access to the variety of success is small because you don't know what you don't know. Then you get to the middle class, and it's kind of so it's a mixed bag to me. It's kind of like you have some people who they see a lifestyle that they like and they have the opportunities and they give and they're giving the knowledge even just by their surroundings about what they can the things that they can do and can strive to be. And even if it's I want to be a star, to I just want to have a great job, like a wealth of knowledge goes there. So you have that. And then you have some people who just their their parents made it so comfortable that they're laissez-faire. So you have it a mixed bag there where you have people who are because sometimes I'm not gonna say sometimes the parents push You have to do certain things because they're in the middle class, and that's a different thing. So you got the parents, you're going to college, you're doing this, you're doing this. I'm not going to say lower class people don't do that, but it was more of you got to get a scholarship. It, and the middle class is more of you're going to school or you're going to do this because even if you didn't get a scholarship, we're pushing you in this direction. Um, so that was a thing. Uh, Upper class, from what I've seen, it's it's more laissez faire because sometimes because what I've seen, you had upper class parents who work a lot, so the kid they have a great lifestyle, but they're working a lot. So the kids enjoy the lifestyle, but not get necessarily the tutelage to go to be successful or whatever. That's a thing. And then I've also seen the ones that they're pushing and pushing and pushing their kid to be great, but the issue is the kid's kind of sheltered from actual competition across the board. So it's like it's not an iron sharpens iron situation. It's a plastic that's sharpening instead of iron because it's like you don't want the people to be around iron because you paid to be away from the people that can sharpen your kid up. So it's like we just gonna make this plastic feel like it's iron, and then the kids, some of them go into the world and they're like, oh my god, they're too laissez faire because I can always get money from my parents type of situation. But that's upper class, like upper class. Most people are middle or lower. But there are exceptions. There are people in the upper class who their kids really they go getters. But I would say that's um, I would say the lower class has the most go getters. The middle class has the most access to be a go getter, and the upper class has the least amount of go getters. And now, but the stereotypes of classism and the disrespect comes when I have it better than you. And partially, that's the thing about even a regional thing. Like some people used to have that people in the South are slow. It's like, no, no, people in the South are Southern. It's like say people in the Midwest are, I would say the Midwest is the harshest environment in America. The South is really the heart of Black America. The West Coast is a different animal because it's so few Black people. Like that's the least amount of Black people is on the West. You know, um, and I would say the East Coast has a bougie ideology. Like we're better than everybody. It's like shut your ass up. Like you couldn't. It's a weird thing because I'm from because I remember that I'm from New York because you got to understand I lived in the DMV for a time, so I live in DC and DC and Maryland. So, but being from New Orleans and growing up in Chicago, the East it was predominantly the East Coast was like the I'm better than you classism of the regions. Oh, we're faster, we're sharper, we're smarter. It's like no, you just over there. Like that's it. Like your IQ ain't higher because from the cities you from. And but that's the East Coast thing because they would say people were like New Yorkers would say people are slower and Maryland and Philly, and it was a weird thing. Like it was like New York is the pinnacle of 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 brains, and everybody else is slow because New York is a faster paced city. And it's like no, G, that's not how that actually goes. But but I say that because it's leading with disrespect. And then what winds up happening is you lead with disrespect and you're oblivious to why somebody spanks you at some point. That's the thing. And I can say that as a person that moved because I've seen that I'm from here and I'm from here and I'm from this place and I'm from that place and I'm like this and it's like this and it's like, bro, I don't give a damn where you from if you ain't home. And even when you home, you go say I'm from somewhere they don't care. You get what I'm saying? But it's part of the classism. Just to feel like I'm better than another person. And I say that to get into this part of it where um, people do have a hard time of being less successful than the people that they feel like they're better than. You know, that's that whole what happens when the talented 10th meets somebody that's more talented from the other 90%. It's like, well, where did you come from? Are and a lot of this classism comes where, in my opinion, when a lady talked about the struggle part, is um, people want to get up in class and opt out of struggle, and what you wind up making is weak, um, upper class or middle class weak kids. And you think, because you were in these certain circles, it makes you better, but it doesn't. Because I've seen too many people who your parents tried to take you out of the black struggle, and then you became an adult, and being black in America hit you for the first time, and then it's shocking. And I've seen people who actually had to deal with it earlier. It's just a regular Tuesday, and that's a part of the classism. Like, oh, I'm better than you. I'm above, this or that. Like I remember, like I could go back to adding something to this. I remember dating, and it used to be, did I'm educated. Are you educated? Yes. Did you go to college? Yes. Did you graduate? Yes. What school did you go to? I went to HBCU. Oh, but I went to a white school, so see, I'm better than you. And it's like, yeah, whatever, G, whatever. But it's like, well, how could I not be smarter? Because you smarter because you went to a PWI and I went to HBCU. Yeah. Well, fun fact: HBCUs and PWIs are normally in the same area, and they use the same books. So if you're gonna tell me your books, and every now and then you get the specialized books with the professor has their own book, but normally they use the same books. It's the same math, it's the same science, it's the same physics, it's the same engineering, it's the same books. But then it's like, well, because some people do that classism thing, is closer to whiteness, and it's like, okay, whatever. You feel like you're closer to whiteness and you're better, whatever. And being black is bad, and then you're around black people who aren't from your class, but have but live in your class's lifestyle, and you know you turn into who that on that nag. It becomes an issue, kind of like, and I say this because people forgot about this. They talked about when Obama was president, and some black people didn't like Obama being president because they weren't the only black person in the room, or the successful black person in the room, or the what do you call that, the token, right? And it's like, oh, we got a better person. It's like, oh, forget him. That happens too. You know, the class part, man, is just weird because because usually it's a kid thing, and like how it goes is normally lower class kids make it to the middle and upper class. Middle class kids don't necessarily, most of them don't stay in the middle class. They go to the lower class. Few of them go upper, but most of them go lower. Some of them stay, but most of them go lower than the lifestyle they grew up in. Upper class kids predominantly just go downhill. So that's the other thing about the classism as far as the Black America. It's like it's basically a situation where you know uh, wow, the people that are up are going down, the people that are down are going up, and it's all these clashes in between. But it's gotten to a point, in my opinion, that we've kind of work through all that because you got you got more people from the hood in the middle and upper class. You get what I'm saying? You got more people from the middle class who like some of the people that they felt were beneath them, they're not so beneath them now. It's like what, you got country people, you got city people. You get what I'm saying? You got the Jack and Jills and the talented tenth. You got the just the blue collar hard working people. It's a hot the suburbs of classism has become what the black community used to be, where everybody actually from the lowest to the highest were in the same area. But people moved out of that area to try to get away from the hood, from the blackness in the hood, and then you know people just started moving around. And it's not necessarily because of class, because I wanted to be a different class. What happened was a lot of people went to college in the military and they wound up living in different cities. So, and that's a whole nother part of the mix of, like I said, north, south, east, midwest, because you get people from different areas and different classes, and their cultures come together. And that's why you get into certain cities, like a lot of major cities, you have enclaves for people from other cities. You get what I'm saying? So, like I'm in Houston. It's got enclaves of Chicago stuff, enclaves of New Orleans and Baton Rouge, just Louisiana stuff. You got enclaves of New York stuff out here. You got enclaves of so people find their tribe from where they're from. At the same time, they deal with people of different classes. But I think I done went a minute with this, so I'm gonna shut it down, man. I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace.